What's up, y'all? It's been 1 year since my solo shroom trip, and I'm in the exact spot that I recorded that intro that I recorded. And I remember it was 8 days since the start of quarantine, and I was feeling depressed for a few days. But I ended up going out of my way and getting some shrooms, and I tripped all alone. And it was the most positive experience I've ever had in my life. Glad I'm out here right now, just walking down memory lane and allowing myself to integrate and think about what occurred this last year. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So see you soon. All right, so I'm in the spot where I closed out my intro in that video. And this spot means a lot to me because this is where there was just no going back, man. You just had to keep going forward. And that entire video that I made of me tripping, I'm gonna leave a tab up top and a link in the description as well. But that trip meant a lot to me, man, and that video itself meant a lot to me because it captured everything that I was experiencing and everything that I went through that day and what it inevitably led to and what it did for me. So yeah. Woo! Nature Alex in the building. What's good, y'all? I'm here at the top of the meadow that I solo tripped at. And like I said before, I'm going to talk about my 1 year integration and where I am now. But I want to start with what got me to where I am now. And you may not know where I am now 100% because you may just be viewing this video because it just sounds interesting to you and you want to learn more about psychedelic trip integration. But I do want to start where it all started, right here, where I was climaxing on my solo trip a year ago today, March 26, 2020. And it was a beautiful day. And what the trip ultimately taught me was that I'm all alone, that I'm the only one who's going to hold myself accountable for things. And when I'm really going through something, I'm the only one who will get myself through it completely. I can't rely on other people for things. That's really what the ultimate message and moral of that trip was. And I feel like that trip made me go through the spiritual awakening. And I feel like spirituality is this innate part of existence. But since we live in a society where it's like there's barriers in terms of spirituality. And once you break down these barriers and you don't any longer conform to reality or conform to society and their rules, then you realize all these things about the world that you were once blind to. And you become a free thinker. And that's what happened to me. But somewhere along the way, I took this free thinking way too far. And I went through a conspiracy craze. And I've talked about this on my channel several times before. I'll leave a tab up to a video. But yeah, I was way too obsessed with conspiracies. And it was really leading me down a bad road because it was a compulsive habit, which is something I still struggle with, compulsiveness with other things. But it's not with conspiracies anymore, which is good because I'm still able to be productive. But after that was over, I remember there was a time where I wasn't accepting my reality because I feel like my relationship with my dad was damaged. And time passes, I get to around September time, and I felt really depressed. And I think part of the reason of that was because there's a lot of fires here in California, and it was just hard to get outside and enjoy myself, and it was also just hella hot all the time. And the summertime here is not amazing, that's for sure. Beginning of summertime is awesome though. But there was a time in September definitely where I felt like I wasn't accepting my reality, and I felt like, why do I have to work at Starbucks like this? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to go to school? Do I even need school? Do I have to go to school? And I felt like I was being forced against my will to do things that I don't have to be forced to do. And I wasn't really truly accepting of my reality. I wasn't truly accepting of the fact that I need to work hard to get where I want to be taken seriously. And I wasn't taking myself seriously. I just wanted to take the easy road out because that's something that I've had to do most of my life. Because I'm generally lazy. And I've only started working hard the past couple years, or even just the last year. But now I'm trying to graduate school by next year in the fall. That's my ultimate goal, to graduate by then and get all my certifications and move. And that's something else I wanted to bring up, was that I want to move to Colorado Springs because I visited there in October and I had a great time. It's beautiful there. It was fall already and there's many pine trees and lots of trails, and I think it's something that I'm meant to do. It's somewhere I'm meant to be. It's surrounded by pine trees, even if it's not Colorado, somewhere else. But Colorado Springs is a perfect place. It's in the middle of everything. It's like a mix between a nice little city and also a mix between nature. And it's near Denver. It's near all the Rocky Mountains. Everything's close by to it. And it's a health and wellness hub. That's what I want to do, is be into health and wellness and help people achieve goals and help guide people with nature, the healing power of nature. That's how I want to help people. Ultimately, I want to get a certification in health and wellness, and I also want to get a certification in forest guide therapy. Just use nature, because nature is healing, and I don't really truly get out here enough and allow myself to breathe. And luckily, this week I was blessed with basically a free vacation because one of my shift leads ended up having something COVID related going on, so we didn't have enough staffing. And I'm sitting here now in the present moment. Now I'm talking about where I am now. And I'm planning on tripping with a few friends on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, of course, because it's Friday right now. But I'm planning on doing that, and I'm planning on having a good-ass time. And this vacation basically is allowing me to ground myself and find the time to get ahead. It's a blessing in disguise. I originally thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and do this solo trip because I feel like I need to, but I don't need to. In reality, you can have a good time with shrooms or any other psychedelic at a low dose and be able to have it benefit you. You don't need to do large doses. Don't let somebody else tell you otherwise, and don't let yourself tell yourself that, because everybody uses psychedelics differently, and there's times where there's people that may do it recreationally, which I have done before, so it's perfectly okay to do it like that. But in my opinion, I feel like even doing it recreationally is very beneficial just to your spirit and connecting to nature alone, and allowing yourself to realize that the world is big and that your problems don't really mean too much. Now, obviously, you need to work out your problems from within, but they're not huge. They're not going to last forever. And I realize what type of lifestyle I want, and I know my true purpose. The last year has been huge for me. I'm finally at a state where I feel like I can be productive even through the hard times, because that was something that I struggled with, was actually being productive when I did feel down and allowing myself to cope with that in a healthy way. And I found my style. Like I said, I want to go live near the mountains in Colorado, and I want to have a nice style around that, like a clothing style, and I want to wear winter jackets and stuff like that. I just want to be a mountain man. I want to wear boots and I want to wear sweaters and just live naturally, and I want to go camping, and I want to go buy a Jeep and go off-roading and just experience nature to its fullest extent. That's my goal. Just experience nature, use nature as my healing and for other people to help them heal. I got ambitions, man. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna stroke myself over it, but I'm glad that I found a middle ground, and I also found a place that I want to go. I have a goal, and I know where I want to go and where I want to be. Obviously, California is a great place, and I've lived here my entire life, and it is beautiful. But I don't like the long summers, man, and the fires are starting to get bad. I gotta get out of here eventually. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this. It's just me talking with myself, but with you guys as well. Just being able to allow myself to open up spiritually and talk about what I had to go through last year and where I am now, and how my last mushroom trip ultimately led me to this point. My solo trip anyways. PSYCHONAUT VISIONS, sign out.